lot more consistent for the Kunkka to kind of work that lane, as long as he kind of dodges out from Yopaj's aggression when he does dip in.
What about that bottom lane, John? I mean, you've got Jackie and Skem, of course, against Faith Beyond there on that slaughter. I mean, it seems like a bit of a tough lane for Jackie as it does go on, right? When you get the levels up on Faith Beyond it, with that added bash, it's always hard for the Lifestealer. Do you think maybe the Crystal Maiden can kind of relieve that pressure as the game goes on?
Somewhat. It's really aggressive lane. We heard what the panel was saying about that bot lane. It's just Slaughter plus Snapfire, all the stuns in the world. You can just easily eat through the Lifestealer if he's not careful, especially in those early levels.
Yeah.
And it's just chain stun after chain stun. The CM can only do so much in his lane. You do have enough mangoes out from Skem to kind of sustain the harassment, but when it comes to commitment, I don't see LGD really being shoved away just from Skem's presence.
Yeah, I mean, you've got that deadly combination as well, right, with the cookie into the crush.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
just so hard to escape, and I'll see how they do try to abuse it. Of course, we did have a look at that top lane as well as Yopaj. He does end up missing that spear, but top lane, FBZ and Tim's going to be against Arme, and of course, why? It's just like a bit of another rough lane for both sides here, at least for Boom Esports. The Phoenix off lane coming out as well against the Snapfire kind of surprised us, John, but what are you thinking about this top lane?
I mean, it makes sense in some ways. You know, attack speed slow onto the Monkey King does make that lane really annoying. At the same time, Ame can just kind of dance around a lot more with his added attack range. Right. So he's not directly in front of creeps. He has some leeway to walk away when he does see the fire spirits coming out. And with Y around, you just take a really annoying creep. You can always trade fairly well up against Tim's. You can't really fully commit for combinations here on Boom early on with the tag team, as we do see the shards coming out from Tim's here as well. It does feel like for Boom, this is maybe a level 3, heck, even level 4 or 5, where you can really start to get aggressive. And that might be more than enough room for Ame to just farm up and get what he can.
Yeah, I mean, you saw why. He went for that early Divine Favor. I was about to say Divine Rape. John, still thinking about yesterday's game, but, you know, just wanting to play a passive lane, I think, here for Ame is, of course, why. Just going to do his best to make sure he does remain alive. You do see the headdress as well, of course. Plenty of regen available there, and why. Just making sure his Monkey King can stay there forever. We'll see what Tim's and FBZ can try to do about it. Back into the mid lane, nothing to say. Like you mentioned, John, should have a very good time and is having a very good time. 17-3 on the Kunkka. But we've seen this man play the Kunkka many, many times. He's an expert at this hero, and obviously showing us a bit of a masterclass here against Yopaj.
Yeah, the same goes for Yopaj, though. He plays a lot of Kunkka, so he should understand the ins and outs of almost every matchup. It is just tougher. Again, Kunkka's just much more consistent with the harassment there.
Come and fight me.
Fight up at top lane, just trying to make sure these pulls don't get away. Bot lane, in a bit of activity. Faith Beyond and Sync have been getting rather low on the Snapfire and the Slaughter, but they will regen up with that salve available on Faith Beyond. Though a nice cancel there from Skem. So against that Crystal Maiden, as long as you've got the regen. Easy top lane, he got rather close to dying, but he's going to be just fine. Question is, does he have the regen to remain in the lane now?
It's going to need a little bit more to fly out. Does have the courier coming in with at least the tangos and the ring of regen, so a little bit more to play with. That's just a lot of space coming out from Ame. He's had a little bit of a slower lane, not too far behind from anyone else, but it's not like a free lane so far. I mean, the big difference is really just nothing to Say's lane. A lot is coming out from this Kunkka. A faster level 6 lines up with so much aggression that you can get out with these early timings that a lot of your heroes do have. Like, heck, even a good Chen rotation at some point towards mid might ruin that tempo for Yopaj, which he really wants in this lineup. It feels like the Mars is going to be setting it for Boom.
Very close in the balance strike there for Ame, just bit. Phoenix very, very effectively, and FBZ just going to go back to the fountain for a reset. Because going back to the mid lane, you saw Skem and Tim's rotate. They secure both water runes, they secure both bounty runes, so just really enabling Yopaj, not allowing nothing to say that the kind of bottle refill he may be looking for, or just the regen in general. There's no runes available whatsoever for PSG LGD, and I suppose that's one good way of just slowing down the mid lane of LGD, is just take all the runes away.
Yeah, it can kind of cause Nothing to Say to play a bit safer, but he's always got the X TP back for a top-up if he really does feel the pressure, and they're not quite committing on Boom to apply that pressure. Still focusing on the side lanes. You see Tim's here just being chased away by the creep army of Y. He's got the most annoying creeps, Chain Lightning creep and the Purge creep up. So you really can't do much about that if you're the Tusk right now.
Gonna try and go on to the task. Oh, the great bound of strike out from Arme from a mile away, and Y able to secure first blood here for PSG LGD. That was right on the edge there with Arme. My goodness.
And it's just when you have access to that small camp and you get lucky with some of these creeps, it just gets really hard. There's just not much the Tusk can do. And again, Ame's just getting a lot of space out. 23 to 13 in the CS, slightly above Jackie. But the Monkey King can kind of just get active a little bit faster, it does feel like.
Another rotation up towards the north, maybe just scouting out that dire triangle. Of course, power runes are coming up very, very soon. We'll see if Boom want to try and secure both sides as well here. As this game actually just going to go for the block on the Ancient, SimQ. May not have caught him doing that. I believe he was within the fog at the time. Well, nothing to say. Mid lane, he's going to get sharded up here. And they are just trying to contest power runes right now, as you will see Y and SimQ also join the fray. It's going to be scammed down to the bot side of the rune that does actually pick up the double damage, so he just gets away with it, just completely denying it off from Nothing to Say, and just a great way of slowing down the Kunkka, not allowing any rotations, though as I say that they may just run mid. Arena is down defensively. Can they take him down? It's a lot of damage flying out, and SimQ, he'll still land the cookie through the arena, just on the outer edge. They just hold him down, but now Nothing to Say. He could be in danger. Tims and Skem getting to work. The double damage, actually doing a hell of a lot of work, but SimQ, he shows up again. They find another. It's Tims. Can he run now? SimQ really chasing far. Very nice cookie and a triple kill out for SimQ.
Oh man, it's that aggression we talked about. Having such a great foundation out from such a strong start from Nothing to Say, and with how good your supports are at going towards mid, it's just really easy to bully out. Boom started out with a really good spear opportunity, but not really able to commit with Tim's around. He's under-leveled on the Tusk, still level 2, about to hit 3. There's not much he can really do to help Yopaj find these kills.
Absolutely not. It's a very slow start here for Boom, but a great start for PSG LGD. 3k ahead. Arme, I mean, you kind of talked about this already. He's been just free farming this whole time. 7 minutes in, he's not too far in, but you look at the net worth just snowballing out of control already. You could say the same about every core on the side of PSG LGD, all the way at the top of the 3 cores from the dire end of things, and you couldn't have asked for a better start.
Yeah, it's just perfection. 0-4, 3k lead at 7.5 minutes in. And you're going to hit all your spikes really fast. Level 6 coming out for Faith Beyond. Going to make it a lot easier to start finding those kills. Already has the Morbid Mask ready as well. And the timings for Boom, it's so level dependent. You're waiting for the egg to kind of tie in with the arena. You want more levels up on your Tusk for a little bit more damage and a little bit more utility out from the Snowball and the Shards. And you kind of want Jackie to just farm. They need to kind of get their supports online and really get FBZ online with Phoenix, because that's their big combo. The arena egg, it's got to come into play at some point.
It certainly does, and you're always going to have to be worried about SimQ in the end of the day, right, with that little shredder. She hit that level 1 mark of the egg. LGD, they'll slow the game down a little bit. No need to rush this one, though. As I say that, we have a rotation into the mid lane. Yopaj. Danger here is SimQ once again with a fantastic rotation, backing up Nothing to Say, but do they have the damage this time around? Yopaj gonna try to run, but they've got it. The Tidebringer was there, and now the cookie back out from SimQ. They won't care for the Tusk kill. No need to overextend for that. They've got the big one already.
Yeah, they're just tempering themselves so well on LGD. They saw that movement down from the sports down bot. They knew they had enough space to go for Yopaj. They scouted out with a Chen creep at bot lane, and Yopaj just can't do much. Like, the moment he gets X'd up, you do have enough magical damage on LGD, and Boom are just trying to get something on the sides. They're committing so much time to try to find those pickoffs, but LGD just punish.
Absolutely. Very, very tough start. I mean, you've just got to try and slow the pace down now if you are Boom. LGD in the meantime, more stacks being made, but no, the sentry is still there, so they have not managed to de-ward that sentry that was there by Skim. In fact, he's gotten both of them really trying to slow down the pacing of Nothing to Say. They've done absolutely everything to slow this man down, but he's still top the net worth board. In fact, he's going to find Jackie on the lifestealer. X is there, but Rage will be there in time to juke out the cookie. Still Fate Beyond.
Yes.
It's going to show up. They do have the X back. Jackie, he's in huge trouble on Xinkyu. He's going to find a 4th kill. This Snapfire, he's just doing too much work.
He's all over the map, and Jackie popping that Rage a bit early. The moment he saw the cookie come out, while the X was on, he had to Rage, and he couldn't outlast that X mark, so he just gets punished. There was a smoke rotation out from Boom, trying to head up top, but they're still not finding anything for their trouble. They drag Yo out really well, just using the vision they have from the Chen creeps, starting to get activity on Ame.
He's got an arcane room, but in comes Nothing to Say along with Ame. Marina is down, but here come the kisses. Tims, he'll buy them a bit of time, allow them to get away from those kisses, but it's still a lot of damage. Now the egg will be dropped down. Ame, he might be in trouble, but no Tims. He's the one in danger as he does go down to Y. PSG LGD, they'll just keep running. They might just want to reset and just back out of this team fight, as it seems like Boom have brought Jackie over. But it's going to be a bit of wasted time for the lifestealer. Nothing going to come out for Boom. LGD still 0-7 in their favor. Boom to pick up 1 kill.
I mean, you see how confident they are. They just drag in Ame. They start to use that Monkey King, get a little bit more vision out, get some good jumps in to follow up, and Boom expend the arena and the egg. The combination was there, but they didn't lock anyone in. LGD, they're just sidestepping everything.
They are not even giving Boom any leeway. Like, not a crack has been opened yet. Still 0 kills on the board. Faith Beyond, he'll take care of the bot T1 tower, has the Mask of Madness up, gonna make very, very quick work of it. This is what I was kind of mentioning earlier, John. Like, against the lifestealer, you're gonna have such a good time perma-bashing Jackie up if he does get caught out with the initial stun, and we'll see if they can capitalize on it later on. For now, I mean, with the 6k net worth lead, they can basically do whatever the hell they want, LGD.
Yeah, they've got free reign of the map. They've got some pretty good wards by the ramp sides on the river, so they're always going to be able to check if Boom is trying to sneak around without the smoke. Boom, for their part, just constrained on their side of the map. They're not able to cross that river. They're not able to really scout out, use that deep ward they have on the top jungle to stop any of this farm game. Like, it's just a very static game right now for Boom and LGD. And they could play it static now as well. They're going back to farming with Ame, just getting that build-up into the Desolator coming out here for the Monkey King. They've even got the early mech up and running for Y, so much more sustained in the middle of these fights. Considering how durable you are with Chen, with Kunkka and the boat buff, even if Boom somehow managed to get that initiation, it doesn't feel like they have enough damage to eat through that.
Absolutely not. And we're talking about damage. LGD, they've got all the damage. Like, you're pointing out the Deso on Ame coming out with the corrosive haze on top of that. Armlet's just going to do nothing with all that bonus armor you get there on Jackie, and painful experience they have to try and deal with as LGD. They are starting to move in, but Boom are waiting. In there goes Jackie. They find Y. They do have the help around, though. Nothing to say. Trying to save the day of the Chen, but the Y is still going to drop. That's 1. Just a pos 5 kill hit for Boom, but it is the first kill of the game for them to pick up, and that's a start.
Yeah, it's a start, and not the biggest, but a little cheeky play.
Oh, Faith Beyond almost finds Tims, but the snowball is going to buy a little bit of time as Tims is still going to drop, and now Yopaj, he's been caught out. Balance is there as well. They take him down. No chance survival, just perma-stuns out from LGD. Into the tier 1 mid tower they go.
And it doesn't take too long to push with just how much damage is coming out. Not even a full Deso out from Ame yet. Just with the numbers they have, with a little Shredder to provide some minus armor, it just melts. And Boom, again, they just keep coming in one by one. They find that 1 kill in the Chen, and then they just don't manage to get anything else. They don't manage to play with their combinations, and LGD just recognize that when they're split up, when the Egg's not a threat, they've got a huge opening.
Here we go. Y been caught out, but the cookie is going to be there. Y will be just fine. Snowball, they're going to follow up. They really want something for their trouble. The Hand of God was there. Y still running. Tornado away. It's just not going to be enough. They even commit the arena for this. I mean, it's heavy commitment from Boom, but considering the state of the game right now, they need everything they can get.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the same kill back to back. It's just not swinging that much net worth. You have to commit so many heroes in. It's a lot of space for LGD. They're just able to go elsewhere, able to get that build-up they want on Ame, on Nothing to Say, and on Faith Beyond. And there's just no stopping those cores. I mean, Boom are lagging behind by a pretty big margin 14 minutes in, 8k net worth deficit. And the timings for LGD are just ramping up. You know, more damage coming out from Kunkka, BKBs will come out soon. On top of that, Deso timing coming out from Ame. And you have very little to deal with any of that spell immunity here.
Yeah, you certainly don't have much. So Ame just continuing with that farm. Third in net worth right now. Only third to both his two cores on LGD. Nothing to say. Still at the top somehow, considering how much they tried to shut the man down. And Spaithian right behind him. Almost has his BKB up now, and that's going to be very problematic. Don't worry about anything here from Boom once you have that up, apart from Jackie, but he's just nowhere near the stage where he's ready to fight.
Tower is under attack.
Again, they can just happily slow the game down, understanding their own strategy, their own draft, and wait till perhaps the mid-game to get going once again. All they can do, I mean, this is the draft where they want to try and move in and start fighting early on, but they just can't make it happen right now. They've got to sit back and relax.
They need to wait for their own BKBs, maybe a blink coming out from Yopaj down the line to kind of help them set up with a better arena, catch some better heroes out, ensure the spear lands on target, and have that follow through from the egg. Because you are playing against a snap, as long as the snap fires outside arena, you're pretty okay in protecting that egg. So your combinations can still kick off. It's just, it's a lot harder than what LGD have, and all they need to do is throw out an X, get a blink up on your Slaughter down the line, maybe after the BKB, and you just have low commitment initiation. It's not going to cost you much from LGD to just keep that aggression, whereas Boom, they can't risk it. They just have to keep playing this slower game, take what space they can, and LGD are just thriving in that environment.
Well, they've got a scan out on Sin-Q. Scam, he's really the only one around right now. As PSG LGD, they'll be the ones to move in and try to find the Maiden. Underneath vision, but does manage to back out of range. Paj, the stick around. Ame, very confident with their own positioning, understanding it's going to be quite hard for Boom to actually pick them off. Instead, Boom will just back their way out, understanding again, they're not ready for a big team fight right now. Not even these smaller pickoffs. Jackie now, double damage is going to be picked up, but he does try to rage away from it. The X, that is, there's nothing to say. Not going to be able to stop him this time. It's so important for Jackie to just keep that farm going. For now, he'll hang around that Radiant Triangle, just stay within the safety of the Radiant Jungle.
They don't have the best vision right now from Boom to kind of protect themselves. Only one defensive ward down bot, very far away from Jackie. They do go for a smoke play here on Boom's end, though. Might find something juicy, although Y's there to break.
Yeah, both supports are around. Good positioning from Y, but they are going to chase down Sin-Q because he's the one with the streak up right now. So Sin-Q, he'll get stunned up. Yopaj with a very nice spear. Sin-Q really has no way out of this, so they do secure a nice pickup. Tims will be the one to take it.
Yeah, that's a much bigger kill than Chen. With that streak coming off, Tim's going to get a nice injection of gold to work towards potentially down the line as Blink, which is going to be key to save up. However, LGD, I mean, they're still farming a lot better. You've got the BKB up on Fate Beyond, so the Slaughter really has nothing to worry about. They're already making their way into Roshan with that Desolator up and running on Ame. And this is them taking it without the corrosive hit. Once Fate Beyond's there, this is not going to take too long. And again, Boom, they don't have the best wards here to spot that.
It's going to be a very, very fast process. Boom, they are making their way over, maybe trying to force a fight as the shards are out, and they really don't want to let this one go down. But how do you initiate a team fight here? Wukong's being committed by Ame. There's just no chance in hell, so LGD, they'll take the first Roshan of the game. Then that mid-tier 1 tower, and it might be just time to group up and smoke up.
They've got all the tools they need here on LGD. Huge spikes out. And with that fresh BKB on Fate Beyond, with a fresh BKB on Nothing to Say. These team fights for Boom, it's not going to feel great. They have nothing to pierce through unless they somehow get a full channel on that egg, but you're not going to be able to protect as much with the arena with the BKBs up.
We are going to have a quick pause. There is a headset issue right now. Of course, we did see FBZ. He's got the Spirit Vessel up now, so they might be able to start moving. Very, very quick pause, in fact. Very unusual, as we are going to get the unpause underway. LGD. Finally one here for their trouble. Doesn't seem like it. The Yopaj is within vision, and Ame is going to try and slow him down. The Mars, how do you get out of this one? Ame, boundless, no, it's off the mark. A very nice sidestep from Yopaj, and he's out. Has his own BKB up now as well.
Yeah, that would have been massive if they managed to kill him off. He barely had the gold to buy out the recipe. So that would have stalled the BKB just a little bit longer, give them an opportunity for a bigger fight.
Scam. He's going to get caught. Nothing to say. Should have no problems taking down the POS 5 CM and does not. Meanwhile, Jackie, he's a much bigger target, but a nice rage away, avoiding the boundless strike for now as Tims is going to TP out of there with the infest. He's just going to make it. That's a 5-star review right there for Tims. Perfect timing.
Oh yeah, perfect escape vehicle coming out there right in the nick of time for Jackie to just infest away. They are dodging out from these bigger kills for LGD to find, but you're still not gaining too much ground. You are at least getting that build-up you want. onto Jackie here. I mean, he's working onto his own death, so he might run into each other again.
They may, nothing to say. He's a big target, but the Spear is not going to land. Nothing to say. Going to try and go onto Jackie with the X-Back, but it's not going to work out either. Shards won't be on the mark. LGD just trying to control that Radiant jungle for now, at least the triangle. Just such a valuable position for them to be in. Just bully out the side of Boom Esports and don't allow Jackie that safer farm. Right into the top tier 1 tower they go. This will really open up the map now, and this is when LGD starts really choking you out of the map and not allowing you to farm in any safe position. Very strong play here from LGD, and you kind of wonder what Boom does about it.
And they're just trying to retake control down bot. You do have really good forward vision here from LGD with their observer warrant, so they're going to be able to see who's farming in the bot jungle, and they're really still safe. I mean, Age is still up for 2 minutes 40. They just melt these objectives with the Chen army and all the minus army they have with a little Shredder and the Desolator up and running. It doesn't take long to just wipe this map out for Boom.
Yeah, absolutely not. So LGD, they'll even find the top tier 2 tower, no problem. Calm play from LGD. And towards the bot lane, Arme. Care of the defense of the tier 1. Again, Boom Esports currently just playing the avoiding game, not wanting to deal with LGD whatsoever, as they are still 11k behind. Just gonna stick as a group right now, but the problem is you are still kind of being choked out. You're not getting any farm, and you're letting Arme get all the farm in the world right now. That's going to be a huge problem.
It's going to be a massive issue, and one thing that Boom does have to play with now is a fresh blink up on Tim. So they've got some saving plays with the snowball. They can try to be a little bit more aggressive. I think you'd ideally just want Yopaj's blink at this point. Again, have that arena at the ready. Try to get some control out. Try to kill some of these key heroes. LGD just don't provide any openings. They're sticking loosely together in the same side of the map. Again, they've got better control. Really good wards to watch that top lane and just control the jungle area. And once they commit to a push, and Boom just don't even bother trying to defend, so they might be able to get away with maybe all the tier 2s very soon.
It does seem that way. The bottom tier 2 tower just going to go down for absolutely nothing. Boom Esports just no interest in trying to defend. They will let it go down. LGD acting like they might go high ground here. I'm not quite sure about that one, but with the Deso up on Arme and still a minute and 15 to go on the Aegis, he might try for this. And he will. It's not going to be a long process. Not with Faith beyond an Arme, just hitting away at that tier 3 tower. FBZ and Tims, they'll hang around the tree line. In goes Tims with the Walrus Punch. Arme, he'll get force-staffed away and he'll be just fine. They don't want to take the fight anyway with the Aegis up. They'd rather force LGD back. It's a substantial amount of damage being dealt by LGD. I think Boom will just be satisfied with the fact that their base is still intact for now.
At least one fortify and a lot of TPs out. Jackie is just hanging around trying to farm top. They will try to smoke off the back of that though. Might be able to snipe someone out while Nothing to Say did head up top, but LGD very synchronized retreat coming out. Maybe Boom just not going to be able to really maximize the smoke. They need the kills. They've got to find a pick off somehow.
Where do they go? Very hard position for Boom. They've got to try and find a way to get towards that Roshan pit, but it's just not that easy crossing that mid lane. There's nothing to say. He's going to show himself on that Kunkka. He has the X-Back, so he knows he's safe. No way to lock him down. Once again, biding their time. Giving more time over to Jackie, who's not too far behind. He's about 2.3k behind Arme right now, but just considering the state of the map, it's just so hard to find that farm. It's not the only Arme you have to worry about, because again, Faith Beyond, he's pretty much transitioned to his own style of carry now, going into the Blink Dagger. Doesn't really need it, but just with that massive initiation now on the Slaughter, it's just, for Jackie, it's just so hard to get away.
Yeah, it's an extremely difficult time for him. And you're so armored up now on the Kunkka, again, with all the saves you also have on LGD. You don't really have the highest burst damage on Boom. Jackie's going to need to twack away at one fella for a very long time, and it just doesn't feel like he'll be able to sustain that. LGD going out for the smoke play now. Aegis is gone. But they don't have the safety of that, but it doesn't feel like they even need it.
It certainly does not. Try to be aggressive here. Boom, very patiently waiting the tree line. They seem to have an idea. LGD are looking for a fight.
The Radiant scan, eager to
control the triangle for now, LGD. Scan is there from Boom. Know exactly where LGD are at the moment. Get 14k deficit. They don't want the fight right now, and it does seem like they're going to successfully be able to get away from LGD. The thing is, if you are LGD, you might just set up for the mid-tier 2 tower now. It's the only outer tower left standing. Seems like Y is just going to get started. Is he doing a decent enough job with the Fire Spirits, just kind of pushing them back?
for
As he does see nothing to say and does not really want to deal with the Conquer right now.
tower is under attack.
GD can find a double damage rune now for nothing to say. This could be prime opportunity for them to try and force another fight. Thing is, they've got to find Boom Esports.
Yeah, I don't mind LGD actually just playing this safe. They've got control of the triangle. They've got the superior precision to push into that tier 2, whereas Boom have to play on the low ground on the defense. Doesn't feel great. You've got the blink up on Yopash, so at the least you've got a way to initiate, but again, it's so difficult to find a right target here to combine with FBZ's egg. They will go for a smoke play though.
Very awkward timing though with that rune available. They try for this. They've got a bit of vision in that mid lane, but they don't know where LGD are right now. Maybe they've got a brief idea, but the smoke is there. Faith beyond. He's gonna have his smoke broken. Yopash not reacting quick enough to catch him out. Now both teams understand exactly where each other are. Looks like they are going to try and bait them forward, but Boom, they're being very, very careful with their own position. They understand they've kind of missed their opportunity to surprise LGD. They are just going to back their way out once again. You really do need that perfect initiation in this kind of game.
And it's just so difficult to find it. Like, you have so many things to worry about. Can you really try to kill out the Kunkka in the first burst salvo? Can you try to take care of the Monkey King? Maybe you have to take care of Fate Beyond, just in case Jackie gets focused on down the line. The threat of the Snapfire is always there for SinQ if he is inside the arena and the Egg's in the right or the same spot as he is. So it's very conditional for Boom. And for LGD, it's just such a clean game. 3-10, 15k lead, 25.5 minutes in. They've choked out Boom to pretty much just stay at the bot jungle area for their own farm and Jackie.
And he's going to get jumped on here down at bot lane. Does have the rage available, so we'll try to run as now Faith Beyond is going to make his way over, but a nice Infest blink away, so they should be just fine though. Faith is still trying. Meanwhile, they have ended up getting Skim out of there as well, so he's fine. Seems like they are not going to be able to catch up once again. Boom doing a fantastic job of avoiding the side of LGD. LGD just kind of running across the map, trying desperately to find a pickoff, but finding absolutely nothing. It's really turning into a game of hide and seek this game one.
Just poking and prodding, waiting for those items up on Boom and LGD. Again, they would want to get some kills. They need a kill to kind of secure the tier 2 here. Boom might get aggressive.
You see the rune though, nothing to say. Ready, but they're still gonna jump in. Walrus Punch is there. Arena down, but the spear was not there in time. The BKB was out, nothing to say now. Gonna turn with the boat to the egg. It's still going. Can it last? It cannot. FBZ is down. Tims will try to TP away and barely makes it out, but they've left Yopash all by himself, and he is gonna drop. 2 down for the side of Boom and LGD. Very comfortably taking that team fight. It didn't seem like they were worried whatsoever.
Yeah, and again, you just see how difficult it is to actually initiate. Tims manages to blink and instantly get the Walrus Punch off, but one small delay with the spear and BKB's turn on, Arena does nothing, and off the back of those kills into the Roche once more. LGD go. They've got the security now for a tier 2 into the high ground.
You see just the quick BKB out from nothing to say, just unable to get the spear off in time, and that's really just what turns it, right? Like, you get the boat off, you're just so much stronger, and of course FBZ with the egg as well, just a bit out of position, I would argue. Way too far forward, taking it way too easy for LGD to just take him out, and now they're onto the tier 3 tower. It's a clinic so far from LGD. The tier 3, not going to last too long with all this minus armor available from Arme.
Middle tower is under attack.
Very confident. Just down the front lines is the Monkey King as the BKB has been forced out once again. Cookie will not land. They do find a tier 3 though, and LGD, they might not continue. The BKB's down for Arme, they don't want to risk it. Even with the Aegis up, you may as well wait till the BKB's back up and available and just go high ground again. In the meantime though, we do have a 5-man smoker.
See if Boom can kind of try to find a little bit more.
Jump in, Arena is there. They'll find SinQ on that Snapfire. It's not the biggest kill, but it is something.
Yeah, it's something. You take what you can get now when you're this far behind. 19k lead still standing for LGD. Much needed kill coming out for Yopash to find. And, you know, you're not under too much pressure. You're going to have Egg off cooldown in a few seconds. Arena not the longest in the world, so you can kind of just take your time here as LGD. They've got a lot of security on hand, right? Like Aegis still up and running for 3.5 minutes. Scotty being built up by Ame, so durable on this Monkey King, and just taking away the healing that Jackie will want to do when he's right-clicking away. It's not getting any easier for the lifestyle. This is just not a game where it feels like Jackie can just simply farm and carry the team. Everyone's going to have to work as a unit here up against LGD, and they're just looking way more coordinated. Their movement's just been perfect.
That they are. Down at bot lane. Faith Dion, gonna see Tims, but the blink away is gonna be there. Still Faith. We'll get a corrosive haze off, but that's about it. The LGD might be in a position now where they just push high ground again. BKB is back up on Arme. Very, very good timing here from LG, just waiting that item out, and in they go. To the bottom tier 3 tower, boom, they will try to set up for this team fight. It's just so rough to see how you get the initiation off before the BKBs, but there it is. They've got the conquer, nothing to say. He's a big target, but he's gonna get out. He's got the BKB in time as Jackie's the one to drop, and now Yopaj is gone. Oh, it was such a great start, but they find nothing.
Oh, they call it.
They call it. Egg is down, they've had enough. Very rough game one here for Boom, and well, for LGD, it was just an absolute clinic.
Victory.
Yeah, they just played perfectly, start to finish, from the laning, all the choices they made. They read the draft really well. We heard how confident Boom was, right? Like Muchi was, this is within expectations. We've drafted to what we know we can handle up against LGD, and LGD shows us their prep work was probably a bit better.
Yeah.
They just come out on top. We saw that combination at the end, that blink in from Tims, the instant stuns onto one, which
Hindi naman inaakalang ikaw pala ang makakasama. Ang hanap ko noon, ibang-iba sa ngayon. Ika'y dumating sa tamang panahon. Ikaw na ba yung dinalangin ko? Handa kong gawin ang lahat, magkapiling ka lang. Walang hihigit sa'yo.
Lucky, lucky girl. She got married to a boy like you. She'd kick you out if she ever knew about all the you tell me that you do. Dirty, dirty boy. You know everyone is talking on the scene. I hear them whispering about the places that you've been and how you don't know how to keep your business clean. Mommy, don't go, daddy's getting hot at the body shop, doing something unholy. He sat back while she dropping it. She be popping it, yeah, she put it down slowly. Oh, we go. He left his kids at home. We go, so he can get that. Mommy, don't go, daddy's getting hot at the body shop, doing something unholy.
Daddy, if you wanna drop the attic, give me love, give me Fendi, my Berlin Balenciaga daddy. You gonna need to bag it up, cause I'm spending on Rodeo. You can wish me back it up, I'll be gone in the AM. And he got me Prada, get me Miu Miu like Rihanna. He always call me cause I never cause no drama. And when you want it, baby, I know I got you covered. And when you need it, baby, just jump under the covers.
Daddy's got it hot at the body shop, doing something unholy. He's sat back while she's dropping it. She be popping it, yeah, she put it down slowly. Oh, we go. He left his kids at home. We go, so he can get that mommy up. Daddy's got it hot at the body shop, doing something unholy.
Whatever vibe you're into or feeling, there's a track for that. With unlimited skips and ad-free music listening, you can take your audio experience to new heights, including offline. Tune in to an even better way of listening and get 1 month of Spotify Premium free. Tap the banner to learn more.
I'm good, yeah, I'm feeling alright. Baby, I'ma have the best fucking night of my life. And wherever it takes me, I'm down for the ride. Baby, don't
it was. You know it's not the same. Answer the phone, Harry, you're no good alone. Why are you sitting at home on the floor? What kind of pills are you on? Ringing the bell, and nobody's coming to help. Your daddy lives by himself. He just wants to know that you're well. In this world, it's just us. You know it's not the same as it was. In this world, it's just us. You know it's not the same as it was. As it was. As it was. You know it's not the same. Go home, get headlines, feed internet. I don't wanna talk about the way that it was. Leave America, 2 kids follow her. I don't wanna talk about us doing it first. As it was. You know it's not the same as it was. As it was. As it was. Te bloqueé de Insta, pero por otra cuenta veo tus historias. Tu número lo borré. No sé pa' qué si me lo sé de memoria. Me hiciste daño y así te extraño. Y aunque sé que un día te voy a olvidar, aún no lo hago. Es complicado. Todo lo que hicimos me gusta recordar. Ando manejando por las calles que me besaste, oyendo las canciones que un día me dedicaste. Te diría que volvieras, pero eso no se pide. Mejor le pido a Dios que me cuide, porque ando manejando por las calles que me besaste, oyendo las canciones que un día me dedicaste. Te diría que volvieras, pero eso no se pide. Mejor le pido a Dios que me cuide de otra que se parezca a ti. No quiero caer como hice por ti. Ojalá te enamores, te haga lo mismo que me hiciste a mí. Tú me enseñaste a no amar a cualquiera, y también como no quiero que me quieran. No, éramos 3, era una relación de 2. No te perdono, pídele perdón a Dios. Dije que te olvidé y la verdad es que yo ando manejando por las calles que me besaste, oyendo las canciones que un día me dedicaste. Te diría que volvieras, pero eso no se pide. Mejor le pido a Dios que me cuide, porque ando manejando por las calles que me besaste, oyendo las canciones que un día me dedicaste. Te diría que volvieras, pero eso no se pide. Mejor le pido a Dios que me cuide. Manuel Turizo.
However you like to listen, there's a premium plan made for you. Add up to 6 accounts with the family plan to share the love with people under the same roof. Join the duo plan or go solo with the individual plan and get a discount as a student while enjoying offline and ad-free music listening. Get 1 free month of premium. Tap the banner to learn more.
It is Diamond's band.
The
Soundtrap Capture app is the easiest way of recording musical ideas and collaborating in real time. Catch that top-line idea whenever it strikes you. Add an instrument. Invite your friend and let her add some low end. Finally, import the sketch to Soundtrap to finish it. Capture sounds in the moment. With Soundtrap's Capture app, you can sketch a song, record, and collaborate whenever inspiration strikes. Tap the banner below and download it for free.
Llega al club con el combo, rápido, largo y lejos. Se pintaba los labios y la copa como espejo. Se acercó poco a poco y yo queriendo que me baile. Luego me dijo, vamos que te enseño buenos aires. Y nos fuimos en una, empezamos a la 1. Y con la nota rápido nos dieron las 3. Perreamos toda la noche y nos dormimos a las 10. Ando rezando la Dios para repetirlo otra vez. Y nos fuimos en una, empezamos a la 1. Y con la nota rápido nos dieron las 3. Perreamos toda la noche y nos dormimos a las 10. Ando rezando la Dios para repetirlo otra vez. Dime, prueba, vete y te vas a buscar. Yo le llego donde la cámara, tú sabes que no le llegan. Río de botellas de champán de la copa al brindar, pero solo escucho como late mi corazón cuando ve ese cuerpo escaparate. El traje combina con la Mercedes Granate. No hay otro por más que ellos traten. Quédate, que la noche sin ti duele. Tengo en la mente la pose y todo lo gemido. Y ya no quiero nada que no sea contigo. Quédate, que la noche sin ti duele. Tengo en la mente la pose y todo lo que hicimos.
It is Radiant's ban. Dire's turn to ban. Seconds. 5 seconds remain. Radiant's turn to ban. Seconds remain. 5 seconds. It is Radiant's ban. Seconds. 5 seconds remain. Ka. 10 seconds remain. 5 seconds remain. Radiant's turn to pick.
Earth Shaker.
Seconds. 5 seconds. Dire's turn to pick.
Imba Spirit.
Seconds remain. 5 seconds remain. Radiant's turn to ban.
Enchantress.
It is Dire's ban. Seconds. 5 seconds remain. It is Radiant's ban. Seconds remain. 5 seconds. Turn to ban. 10 seconds remain. 5 seconds. Radiant must choose. Dire must choose.
Drow Ranger.
Choose your hero. Seconds remain. 5 seconds. Prepare for battle.
每一把都当最后一把，然后就也不要怕输。每一把都当最后一把，然后就也不要怕输。
We do get into it. Game number 2 here between Boom Esports and PSG LGD. John, I've got to admit, PSG LGD game 1, they made it look way too easy. You look at these drafts, do you think it might be a bit of a closer matchup here in game 2?
I still feel like LGD does have a really strong draft on hand, but Boom, they've fallen into a couple of comfort picks. You know, you're back to the FBZ Def Prophet that we saw him play throughout the entire season from December onwards, and he's always had a great time with that. And of course, Yopaj on his Kunkka. He had to deal with Nothing to Say's Kunkka, but he's a Kunkka specialist himself. And now Nothing to Say is going to have to try to deal with that on his Ember, and that matchup's going to be a little bit more back and forth. So I think Boom does have a little bit more play, but just considering how easy it is to execute LGD's draft, I mean, it's Drow Visage. If they manage to get a running start, I wouldn't be surprised if they just dominate this game once more, if things go the same way as game 1.
Yeah, it's certainly a very scary draft here from LGD to try and go up against them. It's like you mentioned, John, like the tempo that you can apply here from LGD, the pace you can get going is too much to keep up with if Boom fall behind in this laning stage in this game number 2. We'll see if they can keep up. At least in the second game, of course, everyone wants a third game to happen, John. We'll see if they can make it happen. So LGD, we'll start with the mid lane, of course. You're going to have Nothing to Say there against Yopaj. On the Kunkka vs Ember, you kind of talked about the fact that these heroes are both specialties of the enemy hero on the mid lane, but who should have the inherent advantage between these two?
This does feel a little bit better for the Kunkka. And you always have the Tidebringer to play with. You're not really mana constrained, whereas the Ember is going to have to juggle around with the Wattle down the line, try to secure the water runes to keep that harassment up. Yopaj can just kind of dance back, toss around with the Tidebringer, get some good rotations out this time with the supports they have on hand, especially if Skem gets room to kind of swing out with a really nice creep here.
You should block their top lane. Faith Beyond trying to get that creepy room going his way. Off the back of Sin-Q. Well, Skem and Jackie going to be right against them, and should be a decent enough lane here for Jackie, but levels do get up. You'd have to be a little bit worried about the amount of damage Faith Beyond can pump out, especially once he does have that soul assumption up. If he does go for it in the end, as you can see Skem quite a bit here on the Ench as well, and just end up going for the Gravekeeper's cloak instead, just to remain safe against all this harassment. We'll see what he does end up doing.
I like this little move out from Skem. He recognizes that there's no soul assumption. He can comp some damage without being traded back favorably from the side of LGD, and just try to give some space out to Jackie. This lane is still pretty annoying for the Bloodseeker. I'm just getting slowed up. Losing a lot of attack speed on the Bloodseeker does make it a little bit more manageable for Faith Beyond to kind of just work that lane.
What about that bot lane? Tim's and FBZ going to be against Arme and Y once again. This seems like a very potent lane here from PSG LGD. Especially once you have a couple levels up in the Frost Arrows in conjunction with the Tombstone from Y, it's just so much damage and so much slow that can be dealt out. It's like if you get caught out of position, there's just no escaping it.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for Boom to try to be aggressive here. If you can gap close onto Ame, Bushwhack, along with Spirit Siphon, you can kind of melt her down, but with Y blocking off the Pat on the Undying, you don't have too many access points to reach into that back line without copping a lot of decays, without maybe having the Tombstone come out if you overextend. So I think this is just, again, another safe lane coming out for Ame to just build up, and you shouldn't expect too much from FBZ. Maybe by the time he hits, I don't know, 5 threatening into 6, with the Exorcism ready, that's where action can pick up for Boom. Before that, unless Ame really missteps, it's going to be hard to punish that Drow.
Absolutely. No first blood being drawn quite yet. We are seeing a bit of a shenanigans here from Skem and Faith VR. With a pull here for Faith to be able to farm securely underneath, or rather behind that tier 1 tower. Though Skem going to be a little bit annoying just hanging around, but actually will pull his own creep wave away as we do see Sin-Q. Again, Fisher blocking here, just trying to set the creep equilibrium in the favor of LGD. Just wanting to give Faith Beyond a very easy laning stage to get started as Skem. He chased down a little bit, but they have nothing to really lock him down, and eventually this creep wave will push into the tier 1 tower. That'll mean it'll push back the other way. Faith Beyond, he might need to be a little bit patient, but eventually the creep wave is going to be his way. Sin-Q does actually find the courier of Jackie.
Yeah, nice little snipe. Jackie knew it was coming. He tried to micro it back, but didn't manage to get far away enough. Sin-Q managed to just snipe it away. Nice little take, but Jackie did manage to get his items out, so it's not the worst thing in the world. Trying to top up in this lane is just going to be a little bit tougher. Sin-Q is out of mana. Does have the mangoes ready, but he is getting the pull off, and there's really not too much Skem can do. He doesn't have anything like the Blightstone. Level 1 enchant, not going to really slow down Sin-Q, and Faith Beyond just, again, being allowed to get that EXP, along with a fairly greedy support in the Shaker, right? He does want his own experience flowing in as well. Skem can't really stop that.
Certainly cannot. Go into that Radiant Triangle, just take some creeps away, put a ward down as well. Sin-Q will see him out of there, as now nothing to say. Mid lane, going to get X'd up here by Yopaj, but no Torrent to come out. Nice Fisher from Sin-Q, not going to allow the water rune to go back the way of Yopaj. Eventually, well, Thames, he will secure the bottom water rune at the very least. Nothing to say, he is going to try and show up for that, but Thames will snipe it away from him. So neither mid lane are able to find a rune here. It seems like LGD did adjust, because this is one thing that Boom Esports were doing very effectively in the early stage of last game, is just securing all the runes and making sure nothing to say couldn't get one. This time around, LGD, they're going to make sure at least Yopaj can't find his own.
Yeah, and speaking of that mid lane matchup, we talked about how the Kunkka Ember shapes up. Nothing to say is actually working lane a lot better. 25-7 now on CS, compared to Yopaj, just stuck at 20-4. Good lead here coming out from Nothing to Say. He's managing to even sneak away with the Bounty Rune there. There's a little bit of action across the map as they try to jump it. They don't really have stuns on Boom's end unless they manage to get a good enchanted creep from Skem. Kind of punish Faith Beyond. And so far, this kind of static game, it does feel favorable for LGD. I mean, once they build the levels up, you get the marksmanship up, you get the familiars up, and you have this Ember dancing around you, it's very easy for them to jump in and take these fights and go for objectives if Boom isn't careful.
Absolutely. Bot lane, a bit of aggression happening towards Y, it seems. He does drop rather low on the Undying, but still remains just fine. He has not skilled up Tombstone or Soul Rip yet. He's waiting with that skill point. The right moment to see exactly what he needs, but for now, he's being very, very patient. Doesn't seem like Boom's been too aggressive down to the bot lane either, so it seems like both sides just very satisfied farming up for now throughout this laning stage. We are yet to see a kill to come out. Not really many rotations happening either, though mid lane, Nothing to Say, gonna get X back into a torrent. Real damage to follow up though. Yopaj gonna force the reset out of Nothing to Say. He can always just remnant back into the mid lane anyway. Meanwhile, bot lane, Y just gonna deny himself off. Nothing to go back the way of Boom. Quick reset for himself. Always just TP right back to the lane. The 6-minute power runes now. Let's spawn up. is going to be down bottom as Yopaj able to take with the DD. However, well, the Hoodwink, that's a nice bushwhack out, nothing to say, dropping rather low, will run it back the other way. However, you've got the enchant there from Scam, controlling up, nothing to say. They might have the damage, but Q is going to show up with the Fisher, make sure they can't keep chasing, so instead they've got to go after the Shaker, but it might be first blood to go the way of Yopaj.
And here comes the shot.
In fact, Y is still around, he did drop the tombstone here, as now Yopaj does get chained up by nothing to say, but there's not going to be much out of this, just not enough damage. It seems like they're happy with what they've got.
And forcing attention onto Yopaj. He's been playing around really aggressively with that potential on the 6. Of course, it's hard to lock something in like the Ember. Maybe a bit of a small mistake, didn't manage to really get the X off when he got that initial control on nothing to say before he zipped away. But you still find the big kills, you find that first blood, you're buying space out for Jackie, who has had a very free top lane now. So your Bloodseeker is going to meet that initial item timings you're looking for. The Maelstrom coming out, BKB down the line to Shard once the time is ready. And it's going to be pretty tough to shove Jackie away. You still have concerns about Ame though. He's not too shabby down bot either, and FPZ is not able to do as much, but the power spikes are lining up for both sides. Familiar is going to be up for Fate Beyond soon enough. You can just camp that lane up top and keep it shoved out, and FPZ can always threaten with the Exorcism once it's ready.
They're going to slow off Jackie, but not leading too much. Meanwhile, mid lane, however, they've got the Ember stunned up and nothing to say. Got the Remnant out in time. Can't really follow up. Onto the Ember Spirit for now. Bushwhack, though, is going to land from Tim's. Yopaj going to show off once again, forcing the Remnants forward. However, they've even got the edge there. A nice juke away from them to say, but they've got the X back with the bow, and they will find the Ember. Now, that's a much bigger kill coming out from Boom, and a much better start from Boom Esports.
Yeah, the aggression's lining up. We saw it in Game 1. Tims and Scam were rotating in, but they weren't finding kills. This time around, they're able to play off the setup Yopaj has and dance around it. Q trying to block off this push. Not the fastest coming out from Boom, especially without FBZ around to kind of speed that up with the EXO. But they are chipping away slowly, forcing out responses here.
Still a fair bit of damage thanks to the enchant of Scam, as they are going to try and at least chase down the Hoodwink. Tim still finds the Bushwhack back onto nothing to say as he does run towards the south. Might actually make it up, but no. He does go down. Scam, he's in danger himself, but the heals are out as FBZ is going to rotate on the DP. Make sure they can't go for too much more. Seems that they are looking for the tombstone, but it may just be too late in the end. Just eventually expire. So 1-3 now, 2k advantage the way of Boom. Anyone's game really at this early stage. Seems like a very nice start compared to the last game though, at least for this dire side.
And they're finding a little bit more. These small wins are starting to rack up a little bit. Jackie's had all the space in the world to keep farming. Does have a rupture up, but he's being surrounded here.
Vicious there, Jackie. Can he find his way out of this one? They've got the familiars to back him up. Jackie's still running. Doesn't seem like he's taking too much damage. In fact, now the rupture is there. Q gonna try and get his way out, but it's not gonna work. The torrent is there. Familiars, they will stun a little bit, but Q understands he can knock it away. So Yopaj, he'll take his third kill of the game on the Kunkka.
There's just so much activity coming out from Yopaj, and instantly an EXO coming out here as well from FFZ. Trying to take that bot tier 1 tower. The push threat is online for Boom. And LGD, we haven't really seen them group up yet with the threat of the familiars. Again, you kind of want to just camp a lane, keep that farm up, slow down the core. They're not able to threaten in the same way Boom is right now.
Certainly not. FBZ able to secure that bottom tier 1. All 3 cores of Boom now top than their worth board. And this is basically a mirror switch of what happened in Game 1, at least for now. LGD, they might still be confident in their own timing with this Visage kind of draft. They might just take it easy, get their farm going, just trying to avoid the side of Boom. Boom for now, they want to fight, and you can see it as Yopaj going for a bit of a chase onto nothing to say. Won't end up going for the X up yet. In fact, now he's the one on the run. There might be somebody to cut him off soon, but no, it's only Y on the Undying. No way for him to really lock down the Kunkka. They'll just try and take these stacks away before they are forced to leave this dire jungle.
They take a creep off from Yopaj. Not the biggest loss in the world here for Boom. They did manage to find the tier 1 tower trade eventually from LGD's end, clearing out top. That does give them some good forward control here. There are defensive wards out from Boom to check if anyone is sneaking around the top jungle. And they've switched Jackie around anyway to play into the triangle. The build-up is still there. Still a rather even game, 1-4, 3k lead for Boom, slight advantage for them. And LGD, it feels like we haven't seen them play with their own strengths yet. You know, they're just taking their time, they're building up, they're not losing too much off the map. So things don't feel too bad for LGD at the moment, despite being a little bit behind.
Yeah, still plenty of map control available on their own things. Q bit of de-warding out. Very nice, just securing that Radiant jungle. There's nothing to say. He had a bit of a slower start, working towards the Yule Scepter now, so a bit more of a defensive build for himself. Be able to purge off all these spells that are flying out from Burmers. You are going to have the Fisher out onto FBZ, but it's not going to lead to too much. They will split out Jackie on the Bloodseeker. He's just going to be very confident to stick around here, though. Boom. The smoke up, but there's a counter smoke coming from LGD. Finds which first? Yopaj. Make his way down south. Why? Xingqiu trying to hide right now. Just don't give the opening away. Xingqiu having a very tough time already. Always getting caught out here by Yopaj. Nothing to say, he's a much bigger target. They are going to land the X onto the Ember. This could be a fantastic start if they can find him, but they won't. The turret will be off the mark and the Fisher will be there, so nothing to say. A very nice juke out. We'll be able to TP back towards the base.
Really great juke. Dodges out with a sleight of fist. The silence would have been on point, and that could have set up for the side of Boom to find that kill. Nothing to say. Quick Fingers, though, does bail out in the nick of time. Boom, not going to find too much further trouble. They do invade the bot jungle, and they're buying space out for Jackie to keep his farm game up. Maelstrom already on the way out. Same could be said for LGD. Full Vlad's already up in Faith Beyond. Not too far away from the raid pack from this point. And once that's up, all that damage mitigation, all that durability of the Visage up front, it's going to make these fights feel pretty awkward for Boom if they're not careful. If they can't manage to maybe isolate the Visage or just take it out of the equation early on.
That's very rough against this hero, right? Like, just so tanky with the Gravekeeper's Cloak, and pack to come out makes it even tougher here to deal with Faith Beyond. One of his specialty heroes as well. We used to watch him years and years ago with this hero, and see now it's back in meta. That Visage is very, very scary to have to try and play against. Damage being dealt out to the Skem top lane. It's like nothing to say, just kind of poking and prodding at the edge. Skem going to be just fine to stick around though. Has his own way of healing himself. The Seeds of Serenity, I believe it is, and just fine to stick around. Let's say still trying to poke and prod, but it seems like the Ench just going to keep kind of sticking around that top lane. Both sides just very comfortable with farming at the moment. Nobody's rushing for a fight. They're both trying to hit their own timings throughout this mid game. Just sit back, relax. You kind of wonder who this favors, right? Because you did have a pretty decent lead for Boom, and they still hold on to that lead, but is there a timing they're looking to kind of hit? Because you can kind of tell LGD are trying to hit their own timing throughout that mid-game with this Visage.
I think you're okay on Boom. You're just working towards those initial BKBs. Yopaj, very close to his. It's still lacking the recipe gold, but it's going to come out eventually. FBZ, only lacking the recipe. So once you have at least 2 of these BKBs ready to go, you're going to be able to group up, try to look for those fights, try to find those objectives, and then you really start to hurt LGD's farm. For now, if this drags on, say, past the 20-minute mark in the staticness, LGD starts to feel really good. They're going to have their own BKBs. They're going to have their own level spikes. Maybe even down the line, the blink out from Xingqiu starts to pop up. And you just have issues in these team fights. It's already really hard to lock in, nothing to say. You're going to have to clump up for it. And once you're clumped up, Xingqiu and Faith Beyond are going to get to town.
See another smoke out. They'll head down towards the south, through the mid lane. Who are they going to find? Faith Beyond on that Visage, showing up. Those Familiars, there'll be an X out. This could be a big pickup, but the Familiar stuns are going to be there. Still, the X is going to make it in time for the boats to land, and they'll find Faith Beyond. Familiars may not be so lucky either, as they will at least find one of them. And now they are into that mid-tier 1 tower with the Exorcism. Not going to be too hard for them to take them down. In fact, they're bouncing Q now on the Earthshaker. They'll find a second. Tim's just sniping from a mile away with that sharpshooter, slowing him down, and well, that'll be the mid-tier 1 tower gone.
Yeah, and that's the timing you were talking about. Not quite the BKBs coming out, but they group up. Find more.
Trying to protect that Radiant Triangle. It's a lot of damage coming out from Arme, but not quite enough to finish off the job as Yopaj able to find his 4th kill of the game. Trains will not land on any. FBZ going to try for the TP out, but the Familiars will be there just in the nick of time. They will find at least something for their trouble.
Get the big target out from LGD's end. It comes at heavy cost, and those kills, the tower take from Boom still feel a lot better for them to play off, and now the map shrinks a little bit more for LGD. They still have time to build up, and you are still getting some decent build up here on Ame. He's allowed to just play in that triangle, no contention coming out from Boom in that area, outside of that one invasion, and they're just praying and hoping that eventually the Drow and the Ember are just going to be really hard to handle. For Boom, though, again, the BKBs are still on their way. That spell immunity is going to be a really big factor in the middle of these fights. The full raid pack is up on Faith Beyond. So again, if he does manage to use that item in time, Boom might have to spend more time trying to find that kill and give enough leeway for LGD to respond.
Pushing Q. He gets spotted out here. Skem will move in. Yopaj, she'll be there with the backup. X into the turret will connect, and seems like Q just has no way out of this one. They will lock him down with the bushback and take him out once again. That'll be the 5th kill for the Kunkka. Yopaj off to a fantastic start, 16 minutes in. They top lane, they might have a look at Nothing to Say. They land the silence though with the bushwhack. It seems like they will be able to find the bushwhack because FBZ, the sharpshooter, is going to be up at the Ember. Has the Yule Scepter. Will go for the run toward the left side and it looks like he's going to be just fine. He does have the stick charges. They don't have the burst damage for Nothing to Say.
He needed a +1 to try to find that kill. Valiant effort. Not quite what they want, but it does shove Nothing to Say away, giving him more space again elsewhere to keep that farm game up. And Jackie is still getting his own build up. His own BKB is almost done. So it possibly could be just a triple BKB timing for Boom, where LGD, they're not going to have that same level of protection. Outside of the Ewelts coming out here on Nothing to Say, they're going to be very vulnerable to the damage here.
Oh, nice shades out from Nothing to Say. Fisher will be there to follow up. The Tombstone has been dropped as well. This is going to be a fair bit of damage as the cast will land on both. Yopaj, he does have a BKB up. He'll pop it immediately, but it seems like they just want to at least take this Tombstone down to get this team fight started. It will get denied off. Multi-shot there from Arme. It's a lot of damage for Yopaj. He'll keep forward, keep moving forward at least to Sing Q. Let's go for a Fisher, but he's trapped in the tree line right now. The boat will fly in. The sharpshooter's there. They'll find at least one as Tim's. We'll look for a bit more now, but Nothing to Say is just fine. He's going to be able to back his way out. They'll only find the Shaker. Still 2-9, 6k advantage. This whole time, Jackie is free farming. It's mid lane. In they go again. They found Yopaj another time. This time Arme, he's got so much damage, and they will be able to find that mid Kunkka. There's Nothing to Say. He wants a little bit more. He'll move in, but the silence is out from FBZ. Yules is out there to lock down FBZs. They should have the slows as well, but FBZ, he'll BKB up. He'll be just fine to back his own way away. They cannot lock him down through the BKB. We'll find a decent kill in the Kunkka, but that's going to be about it for LGD.
I think you're pretty happy for LGD though. You force out those initial BKB uses, you only really lose your support, and you're starting to get some activity out from Ame. He's more than willing to join into these fights. So Boom have to be really cautious about going in like that. Like, you can't afford to just fully commit onto supports. You need bigger targets to kill off. Once those BKBs fade, LGD can just kind of dance around, and once they shrink in duration, these fights become a lot harder for Boom to kind of find their openings for.
The shot is there. FBZ does get locked down. Looks like LGD are ready to try and push forward here against Boom, but unable to really find the lockdown they're looking for. LGD treat for a better moment for themselves. Paj hanging around, but he might be a bit too much of a tanky target to try and go on. LGD still hanging around on the low ground, but doesn't seem like they're going to try and make their way up to the high ground for now. Well, again, I think the main kind of focus you have to have on here is Jackie on that Bloodseeker. He's 10k net worth right now. He's just absolutely huge. And Arme, he's not too far behind, but Jackie, it just seems like he's getting away with it a little bit too much. They will see Nothing to Say. No way to lock down the Ember, so he'll just kind of ignore him and go for the creep wave. And letting Jackie farm like this, always a scary affair.
Yeah, he just knows how to work the map really well. Very efficient as a carry. Has been for a long time, since his time on Motivate Trust. Speaking of Motivate Trust, I believe his former teammates here, Mr. Fearless, all the way from Thailand. Lots of people watching, of course. Working onto the Basher here for Jackie. So, gonna try to get some control going his way. Again, with all the room he has, that Basher time is gonna be pretty good. Yo, Pasho.
Dion, he'll lose a Familiar. X is there on Nothing to Say, but he's going to run it out a little bit too early, so the X-Pack is there. This won't matter though. The follow-up is not going to be up from Boom. Yes, smoke out though. Boom. See what they can find with this. Wrap around through that dire jungle. Like LGD, they have smoked themselves as well. Besides, looking for that opportunity. A bit harder for Boom to try and make the way through the Radiant Triangle, just not having the vision, but LGD might be waiting. Arme, he's a huge target. The X is there. They have a way to drag it back, but the torrent's not going to land in time. Oh, they mistime it. Why? He moved in to try and defend Army and has done so. Meanwhile, Jackie gets caught out. He does pop his BKB in the stick charges. He'll barely survive. Meanwhile, FBZ in the middle of nowhere is forced to pop his own BKB and make his own retreat. Fisher, though, gonna lock a couple down into the follow-up. Tim's trying to run. More stick charges. Yopaj will finally throw the boat out, but the chains are there to lock him down with the familiars. Yopaj, which way is he going? He wants a Roshan tonight, but he's not gonna find it. Faith Beyond will be able to take the killers. Now nothing to say. He'll find another. It's gonna be Scam on the edge. The Fisher will be enough to just keep him down and take him out. That's 2 down for the side of Boom Esports. LGD really finding a great way of pushing back here against the Dire.
It boiled down to just small mistakes, not being able to kill off Ami. He did have the Force Staff to save, so that did complicate that in that fight, having that way of just dodging out from control from Boom. And those are massive losses. Like, even Scam dying there, he had a gem, free gem coming out for LGD. They just melt the Roshan. You're starting to see that power of the Drow and the Visage. They just do so much work when they're grouped up together. And Boom, they've got to be a little bit more careful. They miss out in the torrent, as we see in the replay, and it just kind of falls apart from there.
It certainly does. Right in time, like Jackie getting caught out, barely surviving through that. The Echo Slam proving not to be enough damage here from Q, and even FBZ forced to pop his own BKB. LGD doing a fantastic job of just kiting this team fight out perfectly, and of course the reinitiation there from Q. Exactly what kind of allowed them to punish Yopaj, who had no choice but to try and go for the deny with the Roshan, but just doesn't end up working out in his favor. Just unable to get the attack animation off with the slows from Faith Beyond.
Boom, I mean, it's just getting a little bit difficult. LGD, with the Aegis up, can take a little bit more risk in these fights. They could look to just take more objectives. The mid-tier one still standing could be a nice juicy one to start to force into the Boom's jungle and just shrink the map even more. Like, they are still getting build up everywhere else. Like, Yopaj with the plate mail going to feel a lot more durable up front, but again, it just boils back to burst damage. If Faith Beyond puts his body forward with a raid packed up, he is such a huge nuisance that you do have to notice. You can't just ignore the Visage in these fights, but they also can't handle him. And they have to execute here on Boom. It just feels like, again, we're seeing that difference in execution here, Mike, where LGD, it's a very well-oiled machine, and Boom, sometimes every now and again, there's a little bit of jankiness in that movement out.
It certainly is. LGD grouped up top lane, maybe going for a bit of a push on that T2 tower. They've hit a very nice timing now. With the security of the Aegis for Arme, who are very safe moving into this tower, but there is going to be a smoke up from Boom. They want to try and defend this. Through the mid-river, there'll be a double damage available on Yopaj. Really the attack buff they kind of need here to take the fight on with LGD. See if they can find Q on the back first. Because Faith Beyond going to be there as well, but they're all in the tree line. Q pings around, but a nice Fisher. Q locking down a couple again into the Echo. FBZ, he will get the BKB off in time. They'll still try to force the fight, but is this the one they really wanted? The boat is out. Yopaj, he's already retreating. He can't find the target he really needed to go after. And now FBZ, another nice Fisher, locked them down, take him out. Scam, he'll get Yulesed up. He's not making it out either. LGD, it just seems like they knew they were coming. They had just the superior vision, stayed in the tree line, and just surprised them and just don't show anyone.
Yeah, Q just in the perfect spot to break that smoke, and Boom overcommit. They feel the pressure to try to make these plays. They don't manage to land on targets they want, and Q's just been a nuisance with these Fishers throughout all these fights, just finding the perfect angles to cut off Boom.
Dire structures.
He has. You're a real nuisance. As you saw, he tried to find Arme this whole time, but just unable to get him. It's the ward placement here from LGD, just fully prepped for that fight. Actually, at least Scam will be the second pick up here. It's LGD really looking quite strong now. Still a 2k net worth lead available for Boom, but it's really nothing to write home about. We're 25 minutes into the game. It's a very even one between these two teams. Still could go either way, but it's all about these team fights. It's all about the next Roshans. Speaking of Roshan's, Aegis is still available for Arme, so you just never really had the risk of losing it this whole time. You kind of wonder, what does Boom do now? Like, do you want to slow down the game? Do you keep trying to find LGD? Like, what's the idea?
Step lively now. Your admiral is on board.
You need to at least maintain equilibrium here. Don't lose ground up against LGD. They've lost their gold lead entirely. You've got some protection coming out now for Ame. Lincoln Sphere up. So you can't just try to X her back. And that just makes things so much more difficult. Feels like this game is starting to boil down to Tim's getting good bushwhack off. Easier said than done. And the Drow is sitting so far away. They could try to mount defense for the tier 1, but it's pretty late in the game to kind of keep that alive.
Yopaj around, that's a big target. Yopaj once again forced to BKB early just to run his way up, but they'll still lose the mid-tier 1 tower. A double Temitron also being spotted out there. Skem might be able to deny it off and does. He'll get away with it, not allowing nothing to pick that one up for himself. He's bottled it up. That LGD, they'll take over that dire triangle. Very strong position, deny more farm away from Jackie. They might just try and head over to the other side of the map. It just doesn't feel like they're ready to actually fight yet.
They've got so much to play with now on LGD. It just feels like when you've got these heroes that can constantly run in and slowly poke and prod. Woody Ember, you've got the mobility coming out now on Simq. He's got the full blink up with a slam ready to go. And he's been a menace without that blink. With that blink up, it's just going to be, again, so much more difficult for Boom to get anything done. But LGD in a really good spot right now. 7 to 10, slightly behind in kills. Not fully back in that fort, but they've evened that deficit out. And they're the ones with the initiative. They're the ones working the map well. They're the ones forcing these issues onto Boom. And Jackie.
Spotted. Why? He'll move in with the Glimmer Cape. Jackie seems to know they're right behind him. A nice Fisher out from Xingqiu, and Jackie's been locked down. Massive kill out by LGD. Stems also being chased down. They won't mind losing the Hoodwink. They got the POS1 Bloodseeker.
Massive win for LGD. Jackie just trying to farm where he can. LGD understanding that, where they have to be. They have got good wards watching that top jungle. They just came from the triangle. So they knew the only spot Jackie would have to be in is in that triangle on the Radiant side. And punishment is severe. LGD, and the damage output coming out from Ame just with the Hurricane Pike and the Lincoln Sphere, it's more than enough. No one's there to gap close. And that marksmanship aura is always going to be active.
And it will. Very tough. We just haven't seen any kind of risk farmer at all. He's always just been in the perfect position every single time. He's unable to catch him out. Continues that farm now, top of the network board on the Drow. Nothing to slow him down. ED, the well-oiled machine you talked about, running now is they're the ones that need to try and find an answer for this game number 2. You kind of wonder what they do here, though. I mean, they're sitting back for now. They're just playing a little bit defensively, but it just feels like they've lost all the lead they had. And with the time that LGD's hit, they can just take their time with this one. There's just no rush for game 2.
Just build up, keep getting that farm you want onto your Drow. I think the one thing Boom could try to do, a little bit cheeky, go for the shard on Yopaj ASAP. Get the tidal wave, pull back the Drow. That could be one way for you to get Ame out of position. Easier said than done, but it feels like you need that disruptiveness in these fights. The Ag shard, maybe even the Ags down the line, because you're not seeing any big BKBs here.
Xingqiu. He's going to jump in. He has found Tims on the Hoodwink. More staff away. May not be enough, but no, it will be. They've got double. Tims will be just fine as the zombie will chase him down, but won't be enough. Won't pursue any further. LGD is still very careful themselves. They're not overextending. They're not giving any openings over to Boom. Want to fight nearby that tier 2 tower in the mid lane. Now Jackie, walking on towards his Eye of Skadi, has a Blink Dagger up as well. Yopaj, she'll try to rotate to defend the bot lane. It does do so, but can't find the familiars. 8 to 10, still a 2k advantage the way of LGD. Still a very close match, but I just feel like Boom are the ones that need to find an answer, as they might smoke up, and they do. Smoke on smoke situation. Across the other side of the map, the only thing they really see right now are the familiars. There's FBZ, he'll just try to secure those instead, and well, he gets one of them, might find a second, but they are going to be spawned back up by Faith Beyond.
The awkward position for both sides. Roche still a ways off, so even if you lose this next fight, you might have the opportunity to fight back with Xingqiu.
Very aggressive play, will get X up back into the torrent and the boat. They might find the Shaker, and they will. It's something, nothing to say. Shows the mid lane, will creep skip. Just backs towards his team once again. Both sides just waiting for the next Roshan. Still a couple minutes away though. Seems like Boom will try to infiltrate their jungle once again. He will drop all they can. FBZ will look for the outpost. GD, they are grouped up, ready to go whenever. Seems like they are not going to make the jump in. Not yet at least. Yeah, Roshan's still a bit away though. It's going to be one to FBZ. Just fine though, just a bit of chip damage coming up, nothing to say.
They're working to this point where they might get this blink up on Tim's. So you're going to have a little bit more of an easier time for the Hoodwink to try to line up those hits with the Bushwhack, get that much needed control in the middle of these fights. Again, it does feel like a lot of it starts to boil down onto Tim's trying to surprise him. The X is just a little bit too telegraphed. You've got the BKB up and running as well for Ame, so much easier for him to dodge out if need be in the middle of these engagements as well.
Chains around onto the edge. Skim just fine to back his way out. No problems here. Shot now 1 minute away. LGD, they're the ones that are really keeping tabs with these familiars, but you do at least have the skeletons coming in from Skim as well. They go for a smoke. We've got a 5-on-5 situation here in the mid lane. Who gets up in the initiation first? The Fisher is there, but the BKB's around in time. The Tombstone is being focused. Both sides not really sure if they want the fight. Skim, he's going to get jumped on. They found Yopaj, but the boat is out of time. 4 staff away. They need to save the Conquer. Skim, he's the one in trouble, but no, they look back towards Yopaj. They should have him. Faith Beyond takes him down. Onto FBZ, they'll find the Death Prophet and they'll just burst him down. So much damage coming up from Faith Beyond. Name just standing right behind him. It's like, how do you actually get to this Drow or the Visage?
They have no reach. It just boils down to the fact that they don't have a high mobility initiator that can dance in, something like the Ember, of nothing to say, to try to catch the backline, to try to stop Ame from dishing 1 million damage in one engage. And off the back of that, with a double damage rune, of course, for Ame, Roche doesn't last too long here. Boom! They had a great start. It just gets harder from here, it feels like. Even with all the durability in Yopaj with the AC, if no one can touch Ame, all the armor in the world doesn't matter.
Yeah. Once again, now a 6k advantage. You'll see the replay, and there was a nice initiation, at least from Sin-Q, forcing out 3 BKBs with that one Fisher. They just retreat immediately after seeing those BKBs, just no hesitation from LGD. They understand they just need to wait those out, move back in, and then just get right to work. Like, you can try to run, but there's just so much slow available here as they are even going for tier 3 towers now. LGD, they understand the lead they have. Again, they just haven't found the opening throughout this game. We'll try to slow it down, but the tier 3 tower's already gone. He's shot there from Ame, just scouting out Yopaj, will hold down the Conquerors. There's your Bushwhack out there, find nothing to say, but he's got the Yule Scepter. Thorin is going to connect it with the Tidal Wave and the Rupture, but it's not going to be it. The Sharpshooter, he jukes it out! Oh, what a juke from nothing to say! Fisher is there, Sin-Q locking them down once again, not letting them get out. Oh boy, 3 down for the side of Boom. This is looking real bad now. LGD, they will go for the tier 4 towers. How do you stop them?
Behind me.
It's difficult. Maybe you get a good tidal wave back. We saw Yopaj try to make that play, but man, it's so much easier to do what LGD is doing. Just keep pushing in, play with the damage you have on hand. Fortify Forest out. Tier 4, about to fall, 16 HP left. LGD so confident, they still have Aegis, there's nothing to be scared of.
Absolutely not. The T4 towers once again, Skim trying to set up, he did buy back, but it's just waiting for a few more respawns. Tier 4, they're dropping so darn low, they're onto the Ancient now, Boom. Still waiting for the respawns, but they're not coming in time. They've got to try and rush for this, but the Ancient is just completely going down. Sin-Q's holding everyone back. They finally make it, but it's too late. It is just too late, LGD. I can't sugarcoat it, John. They made this series look easy. 2-0 the way of LGD, and what can I say? Boom Esports, they tried their best, but just weren't the better team today.
Yeah, I mean, it was such the journey out from Boom, of course. A 1.4% chance to even come in to that lower bracket that they beat Team Spirit in, and now having to face LGD a big favorite for a lot of people to win TI itself, or at least make it to the grand finals. They put up a fight, LGD, they come back so strong here. We're seeing that strength that might have been a little bit more up and down in groups, that might not have shown in the early days of the playoffs.
Yeah.
LGD, they look to be back in fine form.
Just such a calm team, just such a coordinated team. Is see, very composed, no emotions here from LGD. It's just another day for them, another 2-0 victory.
Vente pa' Canarias sin el equipaje, sin viaje de vuelta. Por la isla te va a dar una vuelta. Bebé, solo avisa. El sábado teteo, el domingo misa. Estoy a ver si me garantiza que te me pegas como quien graba con B-Side. Salir a las amigas del party y ella se quedó mirándonos a los ojos, no al reloj. Y nos fuimos en Uber al apartamento en privado. Me pedía que le diera un concierto. Le dije que por menos de un beso no canto. Y nos fuimos en una, empezamos a la 1. Y con la nota rápido nos dieron las 3. Perreamos toda la noche y nos dormimos a las 10. Ando rezando la Dios para repetirlo otra vez. Quédate, que la noche sin ti duele. Tengo en la mente la pose y todo lo gemido. Que ya no quiero nada que no sea contigo.
Fucking Robitussin. I don't know how this shit got me lazy right now, yeah. Can't do Percocets on my leg. I'm turning one, trying to live it up. Hit it right, baby, ooh, yeah. Ride it, ooh, yeah. Bring it over to my place. And you be like, baby, who cares? Well, I know you care. Bring it over to my plate. You don't know what you do. Keep to me. Your body lightweight speaks to me. I don't know what you do. Get to me. Your body lightweight.
Versace birthday, my blow on every day.
Let's go! Vouchers! Rewards!
Gcash!
Freebies!
Gcash!
Bawat Pilipino gala ang bukas na panalo!
Versace birthday, blow on every day.
I don't know what you've been told, but time is running out, no need to take it slow. I'm stepping to you toe to toe. I should be scared, honey, maybe so, but I ain't worried about it right now. Keeping dreams alive, 1999 heroes. I ain't worried about it right now. Swimming in the floods, dancing on the clouds below. I ain't worried about it. I don't know what you've been told, but time is running out, so spend it like it's gold. I'm living like I'm 90 got no regrets even when I'm broke. Yeah, I'm at my best when I got something I'm wanting to steal. Way too busy for them problems and problems to feel. Yeah, yeah, no stressing, just obsessing with sealing the deal. I take it in and let it go, but I ain't worried about it right now. Keeping dreams alive, 1999 heroes. I ain't worried about it right now. Swimming in the floods, dancing on the clouds below. I ain't worried about it. I ain't worried about it. I ain't worried about it right now. Keeping dreams alive, 1999 heroes. I ain't worried about it right now. Swimming in the floods, dancing on the clouds below. I ain't worried about it. I ain't worried about it. I ain't worried about it. Wanted me, I wish I knew. I wish I knew you wanted me. I wish I knew. I wish I knew you wanted me. What you what you do? Made a move, could've made a move. If I knew I'd be with you. Is it too late to pursue? I bite my tongue, it's a bad habit. Kinda mad that I didn't take a stab at it. Thought you were too good for me, my dear. Never gave me time of day, my dear. It's okay, things happen for reasons that I think are sure. Yeah, I wish I knew. I wish I knew you wanted me. I wish I knew. I wish I knew you wanted me. I wish I knew. I wish I knew you wanted me. I wish I knew. I wish I knew you wanted me. Say to me, you still want it. I wish you wouldn't play with me. I wanna know. Can I bite your tongue like my bad habit? Would you mind if I tried to make a pass at it? Now you're not too good for me, my dear. Funny you come back to me, my dear. It's okay, things happen for reasons that I can't ignore, yeah. I wish I knew you wanted me. I wish I knew. I wish I knew you wanted me. You Now that you're back, I can decide if you're invited. You always knew the way to wow me. Fuck around, get tongue-tied. I turn it on, I make it rowdy. Then carry on, but I'm not hiding. You grabbing me hard, cause you know what you found is biscuits, it's gravy, babe.
However you like to listen, there's a premium plan made for you. Add up to 6 accounts with the family plan to share the love with people under the same roof. Join the duo plan or go solo with the individual plan and get a discount as a student while enjoying offline and ad-free music listening. Get 1 free month of premium. Tap the banner to learn more. Have you ever thought maybe I should start my own podcast? Say hello to Anchor by Spotify. It's a powerful app that lets you easily record a podcast from anywhere, then post it to Spotify with one tap or distribute to other major podcasting platforms. Just head to anchor.fm/getstarted and you'll be ready to record in minutes. Your story matters. Make a podcast with Anchor. That's anchor.fm/getstarted.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Ay. En la guagua se queda el olor de tu perfume. Tú eres una bellaca, yo soy un bellaco, eso es lo que nos une. Ella sabe que está buenota y no la presumen. Si yo fuera tu gato, subiera una foto los viernes y los lunes.
Pa' que todo el mundo vea lo rica que tú estás, que tú estás. Contigo tengo que apretar. Y en la calle ando suelto, pero por ti me quito. Si tú me lo pides, yo me porto bonito y subo un selfie pa' que vean lo rica que tú estás, que tú estás. Las otras tienen que apretar. En la calle ando suelto, pero por ti me quito. Si tú me lo pides, yo me porto bonito.
Ay, ay, tú no eres bebecita, tú eres bebesota. Friquitona más, se te nota. Le gustan los tríos cuando está en la nota. Si el novio no sirve, de una lo bota. Ay, wow, mami, dime dónde debes resumir. Sé que te dejaste hace un mes y de una despecho me zumbé. Si quieres te hago un bebé o te traigo las plan B. Mami, qué rica tú te ves. Pa' los 2000 escucha RBD. Y ahora quieres perreo toda la noche en la pared. Te eché si no se ve.
Mami, tú eres élite.